Hello everyone, my name is Cristina Cabrilla Santos. Welcome back to my channel. And today I have something super special for you because I have two guests, not one, but two. So I have Kyle and Val with me today. And Kyle and Val are actually a business duo from True to Form Online Pilates Studio. So I'm super excited to talk to them today. I've actually known Kyle for quite a few years now, and we met at a movement center, Om Factory Yoga Studio in New York City. And so Kyle was someone that always stood out to me energetically. So as you guys know, my audience knows I'm a little bit into energies. And so when I'm around people, I don't necessarily have to spend a lot of time with them to know that I feel like we're on the same vibe, same frequency, and we're into similar ways of thinking. And so that for me is Kyle as well. And with Val, I met Val through Kyle and we got to chat briefly. And it's so interesting because all three of us are so passionate about movement. We've had movement in our background in pretty much our whole lives. And what's different is that we've all been into different types of movement. So it's really cool to see people get together from different backgrounds, yet movement is at the center, right? So I want to introduce these two lovely ladies to you today, but I want them to speak for themselves. So Kyle, why don't you start us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, because that's also an interesting thing about you. And then we'll go to Val. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Christina. Well, first of all, thank you energy-wise, right back at you. I'm so touched. And I'm glad that we can be doing this together in this space. So my name is Kyle, and I was born in Japan, but I grew up primarily in Hawaii and a little bit in England, and then made my way slowly across to New York. And I would say that I'm also a dancer, so I come from a dance background. Growing up in Hawaii, my mom is an organic farmer, and so I have a little bit of that sort of farm outside vibe in my life as well. And I would definitely say that all of those things have come together in unexpected ways to lead me to where I am now, which is a Pilates instructor and an integrative health coach. And I know Val because we worked together at Equinox for many moons, where we were both Pilates instructors and worked for the teacher training program. And I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. That's kind of my general sphere.
Yeah, I love that. And Val?
Yeah, I'm Val. Hi, everyone. And I grew up in one place in New Jersey. And yeah, so I grew up playing sports my entire life, but I always had some back issues. And then when I went to college, I played Division I lacrosse. And after my freshman year, I could no longer walk without a limp. So I came home for a summer. My friend actually introduced me to Pilates, and I did it 2 times a week for like the entire summer. And I felt totally different. I could run faster than I ever had. I just felt better and more confident in my own body. And yeah, so then after I graduated, I was like a whole new person. And I was like, I need to do this for my career, for my life, and try to help as many people as possible. So then that's how I became a Pilates instructor.
Yeah, that's very common, right? People kind of go through some type of a journey for themselves. I mean, for me as a yoga instructor, aerial yoga instructor, I hear that across the board. It's like, oh, I just started it for myself, to heal my back or something else. And then you get so inspired by the practice and it takes you on a teaching journey. And to get back to Kyle, yes, I mean, I am so familiar with your dance background and work as a choreographer, and you had your own company. And so you produce some great work. But then did you gravitate, because you also had a yoga practice as well. Did you gravitate to Pilates more as a different type of movements to get more centered and grounded in different ways from dance and yoga, or what, or something else?
You just hit the nail on the head. So when Val was talking, I was like, oh yeah, I started doing Pilates more when I got injured. I forgot that part of my life. So like in dance life, training as a dancer, I think I always did Pilates. I wasn't even identifying that that's what it was. It was just part of cross training. And I didn't take it super seriously as a younger person because it wasn't as interesting to me. And then working, teaching, dancing, I ended up getting, I tore all the ligaments in one of my feet, and like was totally crippled and got all this like weird hip stuff, and it radiated through my whole body. And so at that point, I had been teaching Pilates for a while, and I was like, wait, I have to take my own advice. I actually need to do the thing I'm telling everybody else to do. And what I learned in doing that is that I was doing way too much flexibility work without enough stability in my body. So like being really flexible is really valuable as a dancer, but I wasn't strong enough to like support the things that I was doing either. And that was what ended up being an issue. And so now in my 30s and not really dancing professionally anymore, it's crazy because I feel so much stronger and connected and more grounded. And I often am like, wow, you know, if I had known and felt all of these things in my 20s, I think I would have been a much better dancer, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I mean, I was obsessed with the show, So You Think You Can Dance. I don't know if you ladies are familiar with it, but yeah, I thought in the back of my mind, I'm the best dancer, right? So anyways, I would binge watch that show, but what I noticed is that the best dancers were the ones who integrated different type of movement into their training. So definitely flexibility was a big important thing, but they were strong because they practiced Pilates and yoga and weight training and all of these other methods. So yeah, that's really good to note. Now, tell me, you mentioned equinox. So are you ladies trained in Pilates machines, or is it more mat Pilates, or is it both? Because I've only practiced mat Pilates. I honestly haven't been exposed to the machines, even though like you know, I do aerial acrobatics and stuff like that. So I do love tools and toys. So tell me a little bit about that. Val can lead and then Kyle can go as well.
Yeah, we have to get you on some equipment because I feel like you would like it. But Kyle and I are both fully certified in both mat and apparatus, in the Pilates apparatus. And we have transitioned now mostly in this new COVID virtual world to just doing mat work. But you can do so much with your own body, with just your mat, with props to get that same kind of feedback that the equipment work gives you as well. And that's why we started True to Form, right? So we could give that experience to everyone just from the comfort of their own homes or wherever they are at.
Let me ask you a question, because this is, I think it's very important now that a lot of people are practicing from home in this online format with the teacher privately or in a group setting, but live, right? So not going off of the classes that are recorded. Obviously, that's an option as well, which is amazing. But what is the benefit, do you think, in really the cues and that connection to the students, so they understand and have that awareness of what's going on in their body? Because I've been to classes, like group classes, where you have like 30, 40 people, and I have no idea if I'm doing things correctly. Obviously, one teacher can't get to every student. So tell me a little bit about this online format and the benefits that you've seen working like that.
You want to take this one?
Sure. So a couple things that come to mind. You know, teaching both Val and I have taught one-on-one in private settings and then in group settings. And I would say that, and this is obviously pre-COVID and before internet, teaching was like a big thing for us. I used to be obsessed with tactile feedback, and I know that that's because it's a huge part of how my learning has happened. And I will never discount how important that can be. But what I've really learned, and I feel like we've really learned teaching online and seen as a result in our clients, is that because things like Pilates, yoga, arguably even dance, any movement modality is really about training your mind and your body to connect with each other. I've had to figure out how to cue and say things and set up scenarios where people, clients, students can start to actually find things in their own bodies without my help. And that's in some ways arguably slightly more empowering, because while there's huge value to having someone like move your body for you and help you feel the things that you can't find, teaching yourself how to explore your own physicality is kind of the point of having a physical practice, in my opinion. So the teaching online, be it pre-recorded videos or even just teaching live in real time, one of the things that I've had to think a lot about, and I think has been helpful in also understanding like the principle of what the work is trying to be like, how can I do all of these prep exercises that will teach the person to feel the thing that I want them to activate, so that when we do the actual like exercise, they can activate that thing, and then they'll get it, and then they own it more than me having like put their ribs into the right position and like push their, you know, like, which is all valuable. I'm not trying to take away from it, but it does lend, it makes people feel like they can work out without you. Which I think is really important, and maybe you want to speak to that too, because especially in luxury gym settings, which is a reference point for me, there's a lot of making people feel like they can't do the thing unless you're there, and that's why they have to spend the money to come in and take the session and be with you. And I'm not taking away the value of that, but in reality, like, I've had clients for years where you're like, the rep, we've done these exercises 3,000 times, but if I wasn't there to facilitate the experience, they might have to think a little bit more about it. And now in online life, it's like there's more agency or empowerment to like own the thing, if that makes sense. I don't know if you want to add.
I totally agree. And that empowering word that you used, I find to be totally correct. I mean, even if I look at myself in my experience, I didn't do Pilates to be better at Pilates. I did it so that I could feel better in my day-to-day life, right? So giving the people that awareness and also the self like empowerment to be like, oh, I can get this here, right? And then I can take this without my instructor leading me in the other 23 hours of the day, and really start to take things into my own body and feel better throughout life in general. So I find that, they're getting just as much of that, if not more, control being virtual.
Yeah.
I love that. Hi, doggy.
I've got my little pup in here.
I can't agree with you ladies more. I'm so glad my doggy is asleep. Otherwise, we would have a doggy fest here. But I can't agree with you ladies more. I think I've come to understand that aspect of practice being the tool to really connect you to yourself, as opposed to the practice being the crutch to pull you away from whatever is going on. So I feel like it's a great segue, what you've just discussed, to ask you a question that I've been discussing with some of my other colleagues, because I work with people that use different types of movement. And this aspect of not really being in touch with yourself, but going to classes more as an escape from your daily reality. And so last year could have been that thing for people where it's like, oh, I need something as an escape. But in reality, I feel like for a lot of people, it's been more actually to tap in and tune in. And that's why what you've created has worked so well and is actually getting people in touch with themselves, their core, and the practice of Pilates is so good for that. But to go to the other side of the coin, where movement can become an addiction, right? So I've talked to several of my other friends about it. What do you think? Have you seen that in the Pilates world? I know in dance world, definitely. I'm sure you've seen that. But Pilates is a different type of practice. So I don't have as much exposure to it as much as I do to the world of yoga and aerial yoga. Have you seen people also use Pilates as an escape and as an addictive type of movement, like, oh my god, I got to get to my Pilates class, otherwise I'm gonna lose my shit, you know? So have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go first, but yeah.
I definitely, yes, I have seen that. I've seen people use it as a crutch. I've seen them use it, any movement as a crutch, really. Like, we can get addicted to anything that makes us feel good, even if it's just for that hour that you're in it. And I think that it's really important to take all of these things as a 360-degree approach, right? So it's not just the movement isn't gonna heal whatever's going on inside of me, right? It's like a mental component, it's the physical component, it's what we put into our body, it's what we see on the internet and what we surround ourselves with. So I have definitely seen that before. And I mean, we are not therapists, but I mean, that is, so I can take you through what I, give you really feel good movements in Pilates, but it's not the only aspect of health, right? So
Yeah.
I would also add on to that, and that, like, I don't know how far down this rabbit hole we want to go, but and we talk a lot about this at True to Form, and it's kind of like one of the things that I think synthesized our deciding to present ourselves and come together as we did and have it, movement and Pilates. You can be addicted to anything, like Val said, and there's a huge, it's uncomfortable to be with ourselves sometimes. And I definitely see, like, having worked in corporate, luxury wellness, all that stuff, you see a lot of that. It's a lot of what's being sold to us. There's a lot of really toxic things in the fitness and wellness industry that are like trying to help us escape ourselves. And the irony of that is, like, when you go back and you read Light on Yoga or you read Return to Life by Joe Pilates, the thing that they're kind of always saying is that you also have to do this inner work. And there is this, like, social emotional connect part of what you're doing. It's not just showing up and physically doing the exercise. And that ties into all of these expectations that then people have around, like, how they're supposed to look or what they need to feel in order to be whatever it is that they're working towards or that their expectation has been set up to be. And we're trying to move away from that a lot, actually. Like, our whole spiel is, like, whoever you are, like, body shape, race, doesn't matter. Like, you deserve to work out and feel amazing, and you deserve to be empowered to, like, understand the kinesthetic intelligence that lives inside of you. And a lot of what happens, I think, when people get addicted to any type of exercise, be it Soul Cycle or yoga or Pilates, or, like, we could name all of it, is people, they forget what the point is. Like, they lose themselves in what society is telling us we're supposed to be, as opposed to actually feeling what they're supposed to feel. And meaning, exercise and all of the things that we have are designed to help us live our lives better and feel like, when you bend down to pick up your keys, like, your knee is not going to explode. Like, that's a revelation. And, like, maybe having washboard abs is not the right goal for everybody or anybody, actually, arguably, depending on who you are. And I'm not trying to hate on the aesthetic orientation of exercise either. I know that that's a thing, but I think that when we're talking about exercise for health and wellness, which is kind of what everything is being sold to us as, like, that should be the focus. Like, how do you feel every day? Like, can you get out of bed? Can you do the activities that you want to do? And can you do them well and to your maximum capacity? And when people forget what that actually means and feels like in their body, then they're like, oh, I need to take 3 soul cycle classes in a day. Whereas if they were actually listening to the information their body was giving them, they would probably realize that their joints hurt, that they don't feel great when they do that for all of these reasons. And like, where's the balance between those things?
Yeah. And then also, just to add on to that, I mean, that's the most important part of like Pilates, is that mind body connection. I feel like a lot of the what happens when people do get addicted to movement is what's going on in just their bodies, and they're not fully tapping into the mind aspect of it. So the more that we can get those two things working together, the more people just in general see the bigger picture, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad that you are pushing that message, because I feel like 2000 to 2010, and maybe like a little bit into the mid 2010s, people were just pushing, take as many classes, do as many yoga classes in a day, or then Soul Cycle became huge, or bar, or whatever the new trend. It's like, go to as many studios with your class pass and just work out. And so I was always an active person and I loved movement, but I, in a way, tried to balance all aspects of self. And yeah, you can get lost easily in movement as well. So giving people the tools and awareness so they can practice without you, I think is amazing, because I want to be able to go on vacation for a month, let's say, and not have to plug myself into anything, have the tools to work out on my own, and really empowering people to do that as well. So that's really amazing. So what is True to Form about? Tell us a little bit about your company. What are you offering? Is it like classes every day, or is it catered to specific workshops? What are you guys about?
Here we go first.
Sure. Yeah, so we're an online studio. We offer pre-recorded classes that you can take anytime, anywhere, for a different variety of lengths. So we have some on there that are 10 minutes long, and they're just quick, and you get in, you get out, you get your work done. And then we have some that are a bit longer, 45 to 60 minutes, and it's like a full length class. And then we also offer 2 live classes every week. So one on Monday with me, one on Wednesday with Kyle. And that's when we can really connect in. We love to do both, because we want to offer a space where people can do it on their own time and wherever they're at. But if they need that motivation or that little extra accountability, then we have the live classes, and we can, see what clients we have that day and give them more specific exercises to what we feel that they might need or like.
Yeah, totally. And we also do every month for our live classes, we have started doing a thing where we have a movement theme. So we kind of work around that theme. So for example, for March this month, our theme has been control. Actually, lately we've been working through all of the Pilates principles, and control is one of them. But it's, we kind of take a survey from our community and see what they're interested in working on, and then build themes into class based on that. So it's kind of, it pinpoints or directs the live classes in a way that's really specific, and again, gives you tools to like develop more information about your own self-practice. And in terms of the pre-recorded classes that we have, Val mentioned that they are different lengths, but we've also started doing this thing where we program class series for you. So a thing that we recommend is that the class series are things that we've really thought out in terms of the structure of a program. And so if you want to use it as something that you do regularly, like this class on Mondays, this class on Tuesdays, and do it for like a couple of weeks so that you can measure where you've gotten stronger or the things that you're still working on. And it kind of is something you can use as a tool, again, to have more information about your self-practice, which is really great. And in terms of the types of classes, I would say that they're kind of all over.
We wanted to offer something for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So we have classes that are also more beginner styles, more advanced styles, so that anyone who comes and logs on can find a class that feels good to them.
Yeah, and we have ones that follow like the classical repertory, where it's really just like Joseph Pilates wrote this and this is what we're doing. And then we have ones that kind of build more on like Val and my areas of expertise. So like Pilates for your back, fascia Pilates, Pilates for runners, like cardio Pilates, like we've got it all
mapped out.
And always building, right?
And
we're
always,
like
yes.
add new classes every month. We're always looking to our community to find out what people want too, so that we build classes around what people actually want to take.
That's awesome. And so it's all mat based. And do you guys also utilize like any props like blocks or straps or blankets or whatever? It's an online space now. So you use tools as well?
So funny enough, we just released a series in March. Today. Using props. So we use a Pilates ball, resistance band, yoga block. Yeah, and we want to continue building there as well, because there's a lot of things that people just have around the house. If they don't have a prop, you can usually find something laying around that's going to give you that same feedback or a little extra challenge or just variation into the mat work that you might be looking for.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. The pandemic is over. The world is a beautiful place. We're traveling. Do you see yourself maybe holding a Pilates retreat?
Yes. Oh my God. What? Yeah.
I'm just like, I'd love to do a little Pilates
That's on our
retreat.
manifestation board right now.
Maybe in Kyle's home state.
I was gonna say maybe in my home state. Have we talked about that for many years?
We might have looked at places before.
Yeah, we might have done some preliminary research before the pandemic.
Okay. I like that.
We would love that.
All right. So where can people find you? Obviously, I'll put your information in the description box, but people can find you online. Your website is...
It's truetoform.com, which is TRUEIIFORM. So .com, which is the II, like Roman numeral too.
Yeah.
And you ladies are on Pilates. You ladies are on Instagram as well?
Yes. So our Instagram handle is very similar. True to form is that called an underscore?
Yes.
I think so.
Underscore true to form, or true underscore II form. And then I'm also on Instagram as Kyle Georgina Pilates, and Val.
I'm Val Voltaggio.
Cool. So I'll put that in the description so people can find you in the online space, check your online studio out, and hopefully maybe we'll catch you, in person in one of your retreats soon enough.
Love that.
Ladies, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, sharing your experience about Pilates, the potential of Pilates to heal your body and really to have it more as a practice where you connect your mind and body and not just work on your hard rock abs. So it's been a pleasure as always seeing you, Kyle. Val, thank you so much for joining us as well today. And I'll see you all soon. Take care. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.